The most famous quote from the Torah probably is, "Love your neighbor as yourself." But why do I have to love my neighbor as myself specifically? What does it mean? Why can't I just love my neighbor, that's it? Not like myself? Well, loving people can be difficult, at least some people. I love my relatives and I love my friends, but some of my neighbors might not evoke a passionate feeling of love towards them. They may be keeping me up by making parties at night, or they may be my co-workers who are late to meetings and don't clean up after themselves in common areas. Or what about my neighbor who is sitting next to me on the plane and snoring into my ears? So, do I have to love them? This is why the Torah is telling us how we can achieve this love. I am sometimes late to places too. I also sometimes don't clean up after myself. And maybe I even snore at night. But whenever I'm late, I have a good reason. When I'm not cleaning after myself, that's because I'm in a big hurry. And snoring? What should I do? This is how I sleep. I always find explanations for my misdeeds because I'm always looking for them. I'm a good person, and even though I know I'm doing sometimes wrong things, but if I'm doing something wrong, it must be a good reason for it. I'm sure this reason exists. This is why I'm looking for it. And why am I always looking for this reason? Because my opinion of myself is biased. I'm biased towards myself and my relatives too. Every Jewish mother has a son who is an angel. And what about strangers? But when I look at strangers, I look at them impartially and objectively. We always catch ourselves looking differently at ourselves and at strangers. And it's not fair. Therefore, in the world around us, we are always told we should try to look at ourselves the same way we look at others, objectively. The Torah agrees that we should view ourselves and others equally, but unlike the secular world, which wants us to look at ourselves the way we look at others, the Torah wants us to look at others the way we look at ourselves. We should be biased. If I did something wrong, I automatically look for an explanation. I have to do the same with others. And if I look for excuses for them as actively as I do for myself, you know what? I'll find them. When people talk about bias, they usually mean negative prejudice. The Torah says that bias is not always a bad thing. We must have bias towards ourselves and towards others, but we must have a positive bias. So don't be objective. This idea is one of many we have discussed in our classes of the Jewish Learning Institute, JLI. Follow us for future JLI courses.